immediately met the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
On this team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Today. This one the other way. Still going back. That's the drag. Walks up and down. Edwards pulls up and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. Doesn't matter. Touchdown.
Jump ball, possession use. At the end of the reverse play, second most 52 minutes, 43.
What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps? Welcome into Thirsty Thursdays edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratonito at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known, sorry about that, as the Twitter. Yes, you can watch it live there every day, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1. Also, my Pitchfork Lunchers, I know this is absolute madness. You can watch it on the wonderful world of IG at michael.caratonito.5. Yes, add a dot between the first and last name, then add a .5, and guess what? Boom, we're right there. You're right there. So you got the rose shirt on. Yes, absolutely. Forks up. We'll get to the Sun Devils' 20th victory in this regular season, 20-6 overall. Man, 7-6 now in the Big 12, and Molly Miller. We'll hear from her very shortly. We'll hear from her and very shortly. But again, it's in the rotation. Said if there's no wind in the sails, we're going to row, and they're going to keep rowing. She said that in her opening press conference. And this team is working together and rowing in unison, but working hard, grinding to row forward towards the NCAA tournament. But anyway, we will get to that. Absolutely awesome. So forks up to Coach Miller again, 52-9 in her last 61 games. The ticker, I have is on. So anyway, but at IG at michael.caratonito.5. Also, go to the YouTube channel, my friends. Yes, you know this. You love it. All you have to do is go to YouTube, watch live. Yes. Watch live, but you guys need to subscribe because you have missed a plethora of phenomenal con reviews there with whether it's coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum, awesome, phenomenal alum. And you have missed a lot of con reviews. So you subscribe. And again, I'm glad you're here now. I'm going to say that forks up to joining in Pitchfork Lunch. But I say shame on you. Where have you been? Because when I say you have a lot to catch up on, we're in season 3, just crushing it, rolling along here as spring sports. Are getting going into full effect with baseball starting Friday. Their opening series against Omaha tomorrow out of Phoenix Muni starts tomorrow. But baseball, softball, obviously basketball is charging into their last month of the regular season, men's and women's, and headed towards March Madness. But lacrosse, beach volleyball, it is all going on. Track and field, men's and women's golf. So yes, and water polo. Yeah, hello, swimming has Big 12s coming up too. So yes, a lot going on here in Sun Devil Nation. I am here on Pitchfork Lunch to take you through it. But go to YouTube. You guys know how to get there. You see my name, Michael Caratonito, but my page is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube. And subscribe, because you shall be able to catch up. And again, like I said, you can binge watch season 1, and then binge watch season 2, keep watching season 3. And then, by the time season 4 starts, which again, we have a lot to get to, so we're not speeding up, but by the time season 4 starts, you will be all caught up. People come back on, return guests again. Just talked to Coach Powers again, forks up to him as they head to Western Michigan. We talked to him had him on the show on Tuesday. And we're going to have, like I said, basketball's redshirt sophomore. I said that? Yeah, redshirt sophomore, because Santiago Trouet, who is from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Cannot wait to talk to this young man. I know he's played with the U18 Argentinian or the junior Argentinian national team. But nonetheless, we'll talk about that. A lot of, obviously, basketball players from yes, a lot of basketball players from Argentina. So, yes, it's you think of Manu Ginobili, think of Luis Scola, Fabrizio Alberto, Andres Nocioni. They've all played in the NBA. A ton have played. Carlos Delfino, Pablo Pringoni. Facundo Campazzo played for the Nuggets for a while. So yes, a ton of Argentinian basketball players. Again, international game. And there's a lot of international feel on this team. So yes, we will get to that, Santiago Trouet. But that's my whole point. Go to YouTube, watch live, but do subscribe. It's at Evans and Michael, V as in Victory, Season Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. So yes, the women get their 20th win last night. Gabby Elliott had one hell of a game, and she has had her 500th rebound, her career 500th rebound, happened as a Sun Devil. So again, this year, again, very, very awesome. But she got her 500th career rebound last night. That's a miss. Okay. But she 500th rebound, pardon me, sorry, as a Sun Devil. And they win 71-61 last night. Molly Miller, first season, 20 wins, guys, for the Sun Devils. The first time I posted it since 2019, 2020. A lot of you saw on the good old X what I posted last night, and we'll hear the whole Molly Miller presser very, very shortly. We're going to get right to it. But, what a hell of a game. When you look at it, Gabby Elliott, 19 points. McKenna Brackens, 14. Eloisa Cayeta, 12 points. And you saw that first, that was from the tip-off. Again, that set the tempo as an offensive rebound, and boom, a hoop. And she did it later again when Marley Washington hit one of her threes. One of her threes, one of her 2 threes she hit last night. And an offensive rebound gets it right to Marley, who buries it. This team shot 45% from the field, 54% from 3, guys, at DFA. And I know we've talked about it. We had a great friend of the program who I was sitting next to last night, Jeff Metcalf, talking about how, we're like, wow, if they could just do it at home. And then 7 for 30, only took 13, but hit 7 of them. They shot 93% from the free throw line, 14-15. Now, Utah did have 20. Yes, there were a few foul calls here, although it was better than the men's game the other night. I know that doesn't say much, right, guys? It does not say much at all. But the Devils were 14-15. The Utes 17-20, 85%, but 93%. Utah 21 turnovers, 21. And the Devils, did have 11, but still, you go plus 10 on that, you'll take it. Points off turnovers, the Devils had 16. Utah did have, 11, so off of 21 turnovers, that's not, nothing great there. Again, still 11 extra points, but you win by 10. and they had that. So absolutely awesome what they did there. The Devils did get out rebounded 30 out of 25. I mean, it really didn't seem like that. Then now Utah did. There was a little middle stretch there where I shouldn't say middle stretch, but there were spots that offensive rebound wise, because they had 39, 12 of those were offensive. The Devils had 4 offensive boards. But again, when you're hitting shots, I know you don't need it, but still. But yeah, they got rebounded 39-25, and Jeff and I were talking about it. It just didn't really seem like they got out rebounded by 14. And again, when you're shooting 93% from the free throw line, 54% from 3, 45% overall, you'll take it. And bench points, it was 11-4 in favor of ASU. Points in the paint, 20-26 favor of ASU. Fast break points, 8-6. ASU blocks, the Devils had 4, the Utes only had 2. Steals, ASU with 8. Utah with 5, and then assists. I mean, they had 19 assists on 25 made field goals, so pretty good there. And then it was tied one time, right? It was tied one time, guys. This is awesome. It was tied for 57 seconds. The lead changed 4 times. Utah only led for 32 seconds of the game. Absolute domination in this huge Big 12 game where ASU won by 1 last time up in Utah. And the Utes looking for revenge. I mean, their coach talked about it. Obviously playing in the Big 12, which is deep. And, yeah, we'll get to it. But phenomenal win. Also, real quick before we get to Coach Miller, softball today, do not forget. Softball is taking on Indiana, at 12:45. Oh, no, Indiana's taking on Portland State. Sorry. Let's see. Let us just see real quick. So, yes, they are taking on, this is terrible. Okay, so today at 3:30, yes, not 12:45, 3:30, the Devils will be taking on Portland State. At 6:15, they'll be taking on Indiana. So get your butt to Farrington, Littlewood Classic. Get on out there. Again, electric. This team is fun. We'll get to see pictures, lots of pictures. I know obviously we'll see Mac Brown, who was Big 12 Pitcher of the Week opening weekend in softball. She already won her first Big 12 Pitcher of the Week. And when you have, double-digit strikeouts in both your starts and you go toe-to-toe like that with Oklahoma, it's a pretty phenomenal starting week. And just, again, that's your baseline. You're building from there. So, but again, Portland State at 3:30, and then Indiana at 6:15, all at Farrington. So, yes. But right now, you guys, we are going to hear from Sun Devil head coach Molly Miller after last night's victory, which, again, just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, yes. We are going to hear from Sun Devil head coach Molly Miller. After last night's, again, phenomenal victory. But they just look so good. They're now 7-6 in the Big 12. They are 20-6 overall, and they're just hanging right there. Yeah, I mean, TCU, West Virginia won by 40 last night, by the way, and that definitely caught the eye, to say the least. But yeah, it's that. I'm actually going to play you a quick snippet of Coach Miller, and we'll hear the rest. But this, again, sums up. I want to get to this. This sums up this sums up again a lot of what the success of this team this year. Her getting 20 wins, tying a program record to get 20 wins in her first season as head coach. So here is Coach Miller.
Simplistic as it sounds, it's stops and scores. And Gabby hit those 2 back-to-back buckets where we ISO'd her. That's huge. That's a separation. Well, then we got stops on the other end. And we often talk about 3 in a row stops, and we force them into tough shots. I mean, they had some air balls, they had some shot clock violations, fading away. So that's been imperative for us, is we can't go on runs without stopping them. Otherwise, we don't gain a gap. So that margin is really, really important. The other thing that I thought we did well was make free throws. Sometimes that can be the difference in the game, and we saw that at Baylor. So going 14 out of 15, that's a good sign for us, and we're putting some pressure free throw drills in practice, and that's going to help you when these games get tight. And so that was a good statistic for us.
So, there we go. So, yes, you heard a little bit of there, Coach Miller, right there, as, again, I mean, just absolutely crushing it. And like she says, I mean, stops and makes. And she says, I mean, it sounds simplistic. And people say, well, yeah, I mean, the whole point of, basketball. But at the same time, it's one of those things where, you can't take it for granted. And look, it comes defense. And you know what? I posted that clip, right? And some people, of course, everyone's got to be all saying, oh, easy schedule. Look, you pitchfork munchers, you guys know, we've talked a lot about this, scheduling just in general. And yes, it's a new team, new coach comes in, not winning last year. I mean, people, yes, are going to go off what Coach Miller did at Grand Canyon. But again, some different players, obviously brought in different players, and now just crushing it, like she's talking about on the recruiting trail. I don't want to hear easy schedule, because in this day and age, you show me anybody that just played all top 25 or 30 teams of these alleged upper tier teams. Because, again, you have to go with what you can do. And that being said, it's one of those things where I crack up when I see that. And it's like when you say, oh, you just don't watch the team. Playing defense is not easy. Going on the road like they did to Penn State, and then coming back playing Oregon State and Gonzaga and winning both of those games like that. And again, I'm not saying it was, you're traveling across playing, South Carolina and UConn, but at the same time, they have their schedule. So yeah, you want to talk about easy schedules. Anybody that posted that says that in this day and age, and you know how flustered I get about scheduling in just all different sports. I get it. That's not professional. I get it. But at the same time, yeah, Molly Miller absolutely crushing it. So gotta love, again, what she's doing. And but the team buying in, and you hear it from Gabby Elliott, playing defense. McKenna Brackens talks about it. Marley Washington talks about it. I mean, Jaya Levette coming in one of the 3 that came back. And yeah, so basically Coach came in and had 3 players on the team. And yes, had to hit the portal and had to hit it running and was going 7 million miles an hour. And next up, by the way, Saturday, oh yes, the rivalry, the Territorial Cup rivalry part 2 for this season, but for Coach Miller, obviously, and most of the team. But yeah, I mean, it's just, they'll be down, like I said, in Tucson to take on that team down south. And look, that team's going to want revenge. Their coach, I'll play what she said tomorrow. Pretty sure I still have that. I'll find it. But either way, nonetheless, because there was a huge crowd here, and yes, there were some U of A fans, but she kind of took a little slight. And again, it's not that she didn't give ASU credit, because she did, but it's pretty funny because, so we'll see how it goes down there. But yeah, that win last night, I mean, Utah, again, you want to try and maybe run out scoring, but holding teams below what they're scoring. Easy schedule or not, smart person out there, which, again, it's not, because in this day and age of competition, And basketball, having your bench, inevitably, yes, some are going to have a little bit more high-end starters, talent-wise. Nobody's going to deny that. But depth-wise, that's where it makes a difference. So, nonetheless, but again, Gabby Elliott forks up to her 500 career rebounds. And this team, again, the way they play defense, like you saw, like this play right here. This is the I'm going to turn the volume. But this is the opening, obviously, opening tip of the game. And the Devils win it, and you'll see what they get. I mean, the women just, running the offense as a trying to get a quick bucket. But look at the offensive rebound. And again, with that offensive rebound, look at that. She puts it right back up. So, man, forks up to them. Absolutely awesome. But, guys, I promised you we are going to talk to Sun Devil forward from the wonderful, beautiful, beautiful place of Argentina, which you Pitchfork Lunchers know that I have written. Minoring in Spanish here at ASU. One of my teachers was from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, as well as is Santiago Trouet. So we're going to step aside real quick, and then when we get back, guess what? We are going to be joined by him, so don't go too far. Get your snacks and Frank. He's had a phenomenal season, and plus we can talk a little bit about a place I still need to go in Argentina, a specific place too. A lot of you Pitchfork Lunchers know, but we'll have them right after the break here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist known as the Twitter. You can check out the show live every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. And also my IG, Michael.Caratino.5. And there he is. And the YouTube channel, guys, is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005. Because for those of you, like I said, about to get treated to this interview, you can subscribe and go back and watch because we bring it all to you here on Pitchfork Lunch. But yes, without further ado, the redshirt sophomore transfer from San Diego and by way of, like I said, Buenos Aires, Argentina, one of my most favorite places I've ever written about and studied, but he got to live there. So we are going to talk about that. But here is Santiago Trouet. Santi, man, thanks so much for jumping on today. I greatly appreciate it after you guys had an awesome win on Tuesday night. And it's got to be a little weird once you get the season. Let's start there, man. I'm glad you, like I said, jumped in here to Pitchfork Lunch. But, I mean, you guys get a good win, and I'm sure at this point of the season it's maybe nice to get a little bit of a breath, but then a week between games. How nice was it to get the win, and then you got a week to prepare for Texas Tech?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to win. We needed a win. At this point of the year, we're kind of fighting for our life at this point. So, yeah, it was good. We were all happy. Yeah, it made us happy as a team, and coach gave us 2 days off, so now we get to rest since we don't play till next Tuesday. So yeah, it's been a good couple hours after the win.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, at any level at this point, and again, I know I'm not talking about people, like NBA and load management, but just with your guys' schedule and everything you do. I mean, like I said, I know it's nice to catch your breath. I mean, you talked about it right there. You said you guys, needed a win, but the one thing is, I mean, everybody's got to battle with injuries, which sucks. But man, you guys have been fighting. Just talk about what it's been like for you in the locker room. Obviously, a bunch of new guys came in, a very international flavor. I mean, we have Argentina and Senegal and the Netherlands, like everybody, like a lot of countries represented. But what was it like just coming into the locker room and just getting to know the guys? And I mean, you guys just seem to gel pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it's one of the teams that gel the most, like the quickest that I've been on. Especially, it was surprising because of all the different countries. We had Masamba, who was barely speaking any English when he got here, but he was still laughing and doing jokes. So yeah, it was that kind of summer that we had. So yeah, that was surprising to me. And then I feel like Mo did a pretty good job of being a leader early in the summer, and then he kept it going. So and he's definitely still doing it. So I think Mo helped us a lot with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, like playing sports, even when you're little, you're not going to be on the same team. But as you grow up, you get comfortable in one spot, but you're meeting people. But yeah, I mean, Serbia, the Senegal, Italy, Belgium, Montenegro, and Argentina. So I mean, that's a so. So of you international guys, I got to ask you a lighter one. Who's got the maybe who's the biggest prankster? Or who's the best creative trash talker?
The biggest, I would say, the biggest prankster, the biggest goofball, I'll say it's Masamba for sure.
Okay.
It's Masamba. He's always joking around, even if he doesn't say it well in English. He's always joking around.
But you guys get it. Basketball is an international language. You know, kind of probably should start there. I mean, obviously, like I said, being from Argentina and the city that I was teasing, because I had one of my professors here in my Spanish, like 15 class. She was from Argentina, and I wrote like different paper. We had to write different papers. We could pick any country, but of course she encouraged us. But I wrote a few papers on Mar del Plata, and I really want to go there. So have you been to Mar del Plata? And like, am I like right in wanting to go there?
I mean, yeah, I've been there, but I was very little. But I feel like you are right going there. Is where everybody goes in the summer to have fun. That's where kids take their last year high school trip. So I feel like that's because of something. There must be something fun there. So if I was you, I would go. Yeah.
The funny thing is, Santi, I've said I've always and sometimes it hasn't worked out, like doing certain stuff. But for the longest time, I said I wanted to go for New Year's because it'd be summertime down there, so I get to spend New Year's on a beach instead of even though Arizona doesn't get crazy cold, but I have a lot of family back east. But I want to go there for New Year's and see what the celebration might be like down there.
Yeah, it's very different. That was definitely one of the main things that was different for me moving to the U.S. Spending Christmas and New Year's in the cold here is different. Right. Over there is so hot at those times. So it was a really interesting experience for me.
All right, so but you transferred from San Diego. Let's talk about that too, because you're talking about weather. I mean, San Diego, yeah, you're not far, obviously, from the beach, and it gets warm. But when you came here and you were here over the summer, what was stepping outside in this oven heat box like for you the first time?
Yeah, that was horrible for me. That was horrible. I didn't know if I was gonna make it through the year, to be honest. I would walk out 5 steps, start sweating. But then they told me that when I came on my visit at the end of last year's season, it was like right around the transfer portal time. So it was perfect weather. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. So I knew the weather was gonna get better eventually. And now it's perfect for me right now. So you just gotta make it through that summertime.
Yeah, and I always say, look, obviously basketball players work hard, getting in shape and everything. But I definitely say, whether it's basketball or volleyball, I always tell them, yeah, you definitely pick the right sports, because those playing baseball, softball, football, whatever, you're outside, you're lacrosse, you're training, and it's like, you got to get through it. And again, not that you guys aren't tough, but you definitely pick the right sport to shine in, especially in Arizona. Well, to be in Arizona to that point. But man, being from Argentina, I mean, look, there's been a long line of Argentinian players. I mean, international players, obviously, but like Argentinian that have played in the NBA. I know people, but you ask them first and they say Manu Ginobili. But you, like you said, when you're young, growing up, as a kid, and I mean, I know obviously a little before your time, but a lot of people talk about how the '92 Olympics, like for the USA, the Dream Team, like, yeah, there were good international teams, but it just kind of upped the international, like, I say passion for basketball. They were playing it, but just like maybe the training and everything. But I mean, with all the Argentinian players, I mean, when you start, like I say, with, somebody like, a Manu Ginobili, a Luis Scola, Alberto Nocione, I mean, it goes, Delfino, goes on and on and on. What was it like just for you down there getting into basketball, obviously in a country that loves the world's football and soccer?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing basketball late. I started playing when I was 14, so I was more of a soccer guy till I was 14. I was playing tennis too. But yeah, I started playing at 14, and then I got my first call up to the national team when I was like 16, 17. So that's when I started getting more into those guys and that generation that won the 2004 Olympics, like Manu, Scola, and all those guys.
Yeah.
and then started getting called up to the senior national team a couple years later, and started meeting some of those guys too. So just try to get the most advice and most information from them that I could.
Man, look at that. See, you knew where this interview was leading. You're gonna steal. Look, I want you to have a long basketball career, so please don't steal my broadcasting job. That was a great segue, because I was gonna say. So when did you first got called up when you were? Was it 16?
So my first call up was when I was 17 to the U18 South American Championship.
Nice. And like you said, and when you start meeting those guys, I mean, again, you're an athlete, you're a competitor, but is it almost kind of like a wow moment, like you've arrived, knowing you still need to work hard, but almost like a deer in headlights, like looking to those like older guys, like you said, that accomplished it, that have been around the team. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I remember we were in the summer preparing for that tournament, the first one I was ever going to play for my country. And then one of the senior team guys that plays in the EuroLeague, big time EuroLeague player, came to practice with us for a little bit because he was coming back from injury. And it was like, wow, like he was there. We were all trying to take pictures with him. And then next thing I know, I look back 2 years later, I played the U18 World Cup. And then after that, I got called up to the senior national team. And next thing I know, he was my teammate. So that was crazy for me. And I still had that picture that I took with him a year and a half earlier. So
Who is that?
Yeah.
Who was that?
His name is Luka Vidosa. He played in the NBA for the Bucks for a little bit.
Oh no! When I was talking to Connor about talking to you for a little bit ago, I was like, man, well, first when I saw Argentina, because full disclosure, my dad's side of the family is all from Naples, from Italy. So being Italian, I have a lot of people a lot of friends and cousins and stuff that have been to Argentina, and I just, like I said, my professor, I loved it even more. So yeah. In the World Cup, if Italy's not there or not doing well or they don't advance, my other team I'm picking is Argentina. So you and I can bond on that. Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, you're saying growing up playing soccer, but I mean, when Argentina wins the cup, and I mean, I know everybody getting to see it, but what was that like for you? Where were you at? And were you with family? But just what was that whole run? And especially, of course, like I say, because Italy did it too. Everybody wants you to beat France anyway, because no one likes the French.
Yeah, I mean that was probably the best moment of my life. Top 3 days of my life. I would say people don't get it, but being Argentinian, I would say I love basketball first, but I watch a lot more soccer than I do basketball, and I take soccer way more to heart than basketball when it comes to sports. But yeah, I was in Portugal at the time. My family lived in Portugal at the time, and I was just getting ready to come to the U.S. for the first time to San Diego. So yeah, it was a crazy day. I started crying and stuff. So very emotional.
Now, believe me, I get it. I was in in 2006 when Italy beat Germany, or when Italy beat France, but they beat Germany in the semis, and then they beat France. We were actually in Vegas, and of course the finals at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm obviously not on much sleep, as you could imagine, but I went over to the Venetian and just watched it in the sportsbook, and there were so many Italian fans. And then I'm walking around, and this Italian family, he's got his wife, and he's pushing his 2 kids. He sees and he's hugging me, and he's crying. And my friends are like, I don't get it. I'm like, you guys never will. I'm like, you guys never will, because it's even if you didn't play or whatever, you watch, you grew up, you have your teams, but the national team. So, I think, and I thought about one thing too for you, because I the whole basketball thing, obviously people say, oh, Michael Jordan's a GOAT, and you have your LeBron fans and people post stuff out. I got to think the Messi Maradona conversation, the generations do they have a fun little spar and debaters that just Messi is great, we love him, he did win a World Cup, but it's Maradona? I
mean, yeah, usually it goes by generation. Usually my dad, they still appreciate Maradona a lot, but at this point Messi's done so much that it's just a done deal with Messi. I'll say it's the same as LeBron and Jordan, same thing. Kids nowadays watch LeBron more, so they like LeBron. Exactly. They didn't really get to watch Jordan, so I prefer Messi from my point of view.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, and it's and I was talking to Cameron Valladares during soccer season from the women's soccer team, and I said to her, I go, "Oh, Messi or Ronaldo?" And she goes, "Ronaldo," and I was like,
"That's crazy."
She goes, it's funny though. She goes, "I love them both," and it's right there. She goes, "But people say it, and I'm like, they've both accomplished so much," but I'm like, yeah, when you say it, it's I feel like more people in that conversation, it's like splitting like a tiny, tiny hair. It's like your preference. I mean, what they've both done, their games are just, I mean, I wish they would have played on a club team together. That's the one thing
Yeah.
I say to people, Santi, is
I'm,
like,
I'm not going to get into that debate because I get really intense when it comes to that. But I'll say the numbers don't lie. Just go look at the numbers.
exactly. Look. Like I said, I like Messi. I mean, I remember even watching highlights in Barcelona and one like a goal that he scored. He went down the whole right sideline through like 4 people, dropped the ball off, got it right back, and puts it in with his left foot. I mean, and it looks like these world-class players, as you know, it looks like these midfielders and defenders are just like standing still and not moving and never played soccer in their life. And I'm like, dude, that's just mean. That's cruel, but it's so beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it is.
Have you got to see him play live?
I did. Like, I went to four of his games, 5, something like that.
That is awesome. You know, okay, you mentioned Mashamba. Let's get back to the team here because on Pitchfork Lunch, I go all over the place. And like I said, like I definitely, you know, if you're going back to Argentina and you need a luggage carrier, Santi, I am volunteering. I will carry your luggage for you. I can be a good help. But this team, like you said, I mean, Masamba like coming in and I mean, your game from the beginning. I know Coach Hurley talking about like the length and you know what you guys could be able to do, and you got off to a good start. Injuries, it's been a little bumpy, but let me ask you about like you say Masamba playing next to him because it's almost like I relate it to like people see this big guy. It's like, oh man, the talent's there, but man, he moves. And not that you don't, but when you see him and the way he can slide and the way he like catches some passes and puts them in, were you even more surprised about just like his fluidity and what's it been like playing next to him?
Yeah, he really surprised me when he first got here. The thing that surprised me the most wasn't the way he moved. I had already watched his videos. He played in a similar league I used to play in Spain. I had teammates that played with him, so they told me about him. What surprised me is that he got here and we already had Coach Hurley does this thing where he has a lot of plays. Like the playbook is like 75 plays, and you have to know every play in 2 different positions. And he got here and he wasn't speaking English at all. He couldn't communicate. And a week and a half in, he knew every single play. And that usually doesn't happen with those types of players coming from Africa, coming from all these different countries. And adapting to the U.S. this quick was pretty surprising to me.
Well, and again, did he play? Do you know if he played any soccer? Did he play any soccer too?
Yeah, he did. We talk about soccer all the time. Yeah.
Nice. I say that because one of my all-time favorite big men in history, Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, I mean, I remember when I was little, I got to go see him play live. So I might be dating myself a little bit. Don't call me old. I'm just experienced, Santi. But seeing Hakeem Olajuwon play live and knowing he was a soccer player, people talked about his footwork. But I remember being like 10, 11 years old, like at like a Suns Rockets game. And just when he got the ball down low, I'm not even looking up. I couldn't tell you like if he passed the ball or if he scored. I was just watching his feet. And I'm like, that's because he's a soccer player.
Yeah, I think that helped. That helped me a lot with footwork too, because I think I moved pretty well too for a 6'10" guy. So I think that helped me a little bit playing all these different sports.
And coming, and you mentioned Mo, and I mean guys with different personalities, but like Mo and Pig, and like even Alan. Yes, all you guys have different personalities, but it seems like to me, I mean, yes, like Coach said, like you guys gelled quick. You mentioned it, but when you're coming and you're meeting everybody with different personalities, what's that like getting to know each other so much on the court? And like, I'm not saying like the ball's flying out of bounds or you're throwing it like 10 feet away from somebody. You guys are more skilled than that. But like, just what's it like personality-wise getting used to everybody on the court?
Yeah, it definitely takes some time. I'll say you have your ups and downs. You have moments on the court where somebody thinks they're right and the other guy thinks he's right too. They start arguing, but it takes time. Then you talk it out. We did a lot of team bonding off the court, like team meals and stuff like that, which I think that really helped. I don't know. It was just kind of natural. Everybody understood we had to be together if we were going to try and win and turn this around, which we started doing and now we're still trying to do. But yeah, everybody kind of understood it as soon as they got here.
Yeah, and you know what? And last 2 for you because it's like obligatory, the last one. But I mean, I think because you were did you go to the women's game last night? Did you get to check it out?
I did. I was at the women's game.
That's awesome because I know like I've talked to Kyle Dodd, who's the radio analyst and a Sun Devil alum, saying like it's cool what they're doing. It's like, but like, from afar we get to see because obviously we're playing home, they're traveling, they're away, but the opportunities you've had to go see their games and what Molly's done. I mean, obviously it's basketball program. You guys both bring in electricity. What's it like just watching them and seeing what they've done so far?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I always talk. I'm really friends with the women's basketball players, especially Paul and Marley, and they both love her. So, and I see what she's doing off the court. She's always engaging the people and stuff. So she looks like a great coach. I mean, I'm never gonna be able to be coached by her. So I just get to sit down and watch them play and appreciate what she does. So yeah, so that's why I usually go to most of the games. It's always a good vibe to watch them play.
That's awesome. No, and again, and program supporters, like I said, I mean, I know, through all sports and like recruiting in the fall, a lot of athletes from, coaches bring them to football games, and, you go to hockey or, volleyball and stuff like that, which has been, obviously the electricity from winning. I know in an athletic department, obviously, it helps you. But the obligatory question, I said, so when Coach Hurley, obviously, is starting to recruit you, do you have to? I mean, I know you probably. I understand he played, but do you have to go like YouTube video and see how good he was? Because I know he won't say how good he was. But did you watch video of him before or when he started talking to you?
I mean, honestly, I didn't watch his videos until I got here. To
All
be
right.
honest, I did. It wasn't. I knew people told me who he was. I played him last year. I heard some stuff about him before we played him. So I honestly I didn't watch his highlights or his documentary about his crash until I got here and met him.
Yeah, that was tough. Hey, you know what you need to ask him too, Santi? This is a funny, and if he told you, then you don't have to worry about it. But ask him about. I think it was in Sacramento when he was first started. It may have been his rookie year or second year. Ask him the fan about the one fan and Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Ask him about that because Allen Iverson actually admitted. I'll tell you this part. He was a big fan of Coach Hurley. And
Yeah.
he actually took a trip when he was recruited. He took a trip to Duke, even though he hated Duke, but because he loved Bobby. He loved watching him
Wow.
play. So,
That's
but yeah,
crazy.
ask him Garden Allen Iverson because it's a pretty fun. I saw Allen Iverson told the story. It was hilarious. So
Yeah, he talks about that a lot when he tries to tell our guards to pressure up court. He talks about his days having to guard Allen Iverson for a whole game. So we heard that one before.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. No, it's one of those things where, like I love, everybody has their favorite teams. Like I said, watching Elijah, I could watch certain players. But my point saying that to you guys, like I said, I mean, you guys seem to gel pretty quick, and the fact that like you're grinding in every game, and I mean, it's awesome to see. Glad to see you're healthy. Thanks for jumping into Pitchfork Lunch, man. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your at least day away from training. And then let's go beat Texas Tech next Tuesday.
We'll try. Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
That is awesome, man. Santi Trouet from Buenos Aires again, playing on the Australian. He's mentioned Poa. I'm thinking Australia, Argentinian. Hey, they both start with A. Very far from each other, but they both start with A. You guys know that Pitchfork Lunchers. So yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome. Again, Santi Trouet, he was having a heck of a season. But yeah, I mean those. I mean, like I said, Manu Ginobili, Scola, Fabrizio Alberto, Andres Nocioni, Carlos Delfino, Pablo Pringoni. I mean, all the guys, Facundo Campazzo for the Nuggets. He was on one of their championship teams, I want to say. Leandro Bomaro, Gabriel Deck, Ruben Wolkowski, Pepe Sanchez, Walter Herman, Nicholas Brusino, Nicholas Lapro Vitola, Gabriel Fernandez played for the Cavs, and Hugo Sconocini, who played for the Celtics. Like, man. I mean, they won gold. Like he's like Santi just said there in the 2004 games. I mean, that's you had the U.S. coming up with the Redeem team and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, and he's on the national team. So yeah, man, forks up to Santi for joining. That was absolutely awesome. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we get back, we are gonna hear. I promise you, Molly Miller. We are gonna hear from Molly Miller after last night's again phenomenal victory, her 20th win. 52-9 in her last 61 games, guys. It's insane, man. Insane. And they got that team down south next. So we'll step aside real quick. Again, forks up to Santi Trouet. Again, little fun con review with him, little hoops, and yeah, Masamba. Like I said, they're grinding. I think they're gonna make this last stretch very, very fun. And again, next Tuesday night, Texas Tech. Get your butts out to DFA, and we'll be hanging out. So, but we'll step aside and have Coach Miller. We'll hear from her right after the break here on Pitchfork Lunch.
For this upcoming Big 12 basketball will be a significant part to how the next few weeks will play. How does the Sun Devils take this approach leading up to the tournament for sure?
Yeah, like I said, one game at a time, but that was a big time win. Two, I believe, NCAA tournament teams going at it tonight, and they were 8-1 on the road. So that's a huge win for us, and that's a very good team. A lot of weapons, a lot of shooters, good post players. They don't beat themselves very often. I thought our pressure turned them up a little bit, which helped. I think they ended up with 21 turnovers. So we just got to keep our brand of the brand. So moving into March, moving into the end of February, the pressure, the defense, the intensity, the focus, the team first approach, selflessness, we got to carry that game to game.
Coach, that 52% from the three must feel really nice to see. What are your thoughts on the three-point shooting today?
I allude to practice a lot because that's the carryover that we're seeing, and we've kind of done some load management. I think we've gotten our second win, which is really good. February is the dog days of season. It's gotten long and it's a grind, but we've managed our practices really well. We're not going long, but we're going intense. The intensity never falters when we practice, but we're going 75 minutes, 90 minutes max. We're doing a lot of game film. We're doing a lot of one-on-one film. So it's a lot of mental practices. But I think that's a testament to our kids. They're getting into PT. We talked about sacrifice. You need to sacrifice. Our meaningful basketball is limited, and it's fleeting at this point. So the sacrifice needs to be, hey, you wake up and you do extra PT. You're eating right. You're staying hydrated. All those things matters, and I think it actually does show up on the box score. So kudos to our kids for making good decisions, taking care of themselves, being ready to play, and peaking at the right time.
Coach, you talk about more of the mental too, but from a defensive standpoint, I know you've talked about how they're going to perform on the floor. They're going to be sitting by you, but to the same point, like this game tonight, you forced obviously quite a few air balls, but do you just feel like this has probably been like the maybe most complete defensive communication that you've seen from this team all year, which has been really good?
I think it built. I thought we saw that at Oklahoma State, forcing them into tough shots, and they didn't shoot it well. I thought we played an amazing defensive game against Baylor. You look back and you're a play or two away from that one. So the carryover, obviously the buy-in's been in there from the get-go of defense, but the more and more you play together, remember this team is completely new. The more cohesive we're going to get, and you're just seeing the effort, and you have to play a little bit like your back's against the wall right now. Sense of urgency. Every game matters, and if we played this game, if this was the last game on our schedule, it might have been, hey, this is the one that gets to go to the NCAA tournament. So we have to play every game like that. And they're aware of that. We talk about it. We don't, pressure is a privilege. We talk about where we're at. We look at the rankings. We look at how important these games are. Pressure, it's opportunity meets exposure meets growth. And that's what we're looking as a privilege, is all those things combined to game by game, we got to bring our A game.
Blake Andor in front of Intel. We saw the press defense show up a little bit later in the half with Lovett and Davenport usually running up to the ball handler and trapping. Is press defense always in the game plan, or do you usually use it in a circumstance just quickly? And how do you use the press defense in that?
We always want to pressure, make things difficult, disrupt. Now, whether that's 94 feet or just kind of one-on-one, man-to-man, working the ball down, that'll be dependent a lot on time to score, a little bit of foul issues, not foul issues. So it's situational, but we're also going to try to every time get up and disrupt a little bit. Now, if we're going on traps every time, that's probably not going to happen, but it's definitely pressure defense, just working the ball up. We said we wanted some zigzag energy, so we wanted them to zig and zag and have to work and just make it difficult to start their offense, because they've got their tempo on offense is pretty impressive. So we wanted to make it hard for the initial start of their offense.
And to add one more question, if that's okay. We saw obviously all those turnovers, but not really a lot of points off the turnovers. How can you find a way to capitalize off those turnovers?
You know, push and pace. We've asked POA to do that a little bit more, but strategically. So there's a fine line between pushing just to push without reason, or pushing to gain an advantage. So if we have a neutral court off those turnovers, we really want to execute. If we have an advantage, we want to kind of create a domino effect off that advantage. And Poe's been doing a lot better job of that. So again, a testament to her and her buy-in. She's really worked on that part of her game.
Coach, really good team win. Brackens having a really great shooting night. Claire having to guard their two bigs. Tough task. She had a great game. And then really from top to bottom, everybody had a great night. What can you say about Claire and Brackens and who else impressed you tonight?
And we always say we need three. You know, we need at least 3 scorers out there and then some role players to be a threat. That's why I like Deb shooting that 3 and making her first one. Now they've got a guarder. She's a threat. Jaya, when she gets in, she turns the corner and does her signature left-handed layup. Now that opens up the game for when you do need a bucket, you can go to Gabby and not all the attention's on her. They have to guard other people. So, and a testament to Gabby too. Those shots were rimming in and out in that first quarter, but she has that steadiness and stick-to-itiveness about her. When we need a bucket, I think the whole building knows who it's going to, and we've got confidence in her. But having those other threats on the court makes it easier on the Gabbies and the Brackens, and today the L. She was one-on-one. She wasn't one-on-one when we first played them. They doubled down and they dug on the post. But now it's hard to leave someone like Deb. It's hard to leave someone like Jaya when they're in the game. So that opens it up for everybody.
Fantini coming in the second half, that's kind of tough to do. Could have cold legs or something like that, and she went in and instantly got a bucket. How'd that play go down?
She's always going to give effort, and I told her, you're not a freshman anymore. So you go out there with the killer instinct, you be aggressive, get every rebound, look to score. I think that's something we're telling our kids more and more. Look to score, be a threat. We can't play 4-on-5 out there. So her poise has gotten better and her confidence has gotten better. And you get those confidence reps in practice. And we turn her loose in practice and she can score it, she can defend. So again, I'm glad that she has the confidence now to go in there and help her team.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little more on the difference between the game in Utah and the game here. That one went down to the wire, you did win, but this one you basically led wire to wire and kind of put it away there. Not really put it away, but created a gap that you could control, keep through the fourth quarter. So what I guess is the difference that you're seeing where your team is now compared to December 31st?
As simplistic as it sounds, it's stops and scores. And Gabby hit those 2 back-to-back buckets where we ISO'd her. That's huge. That's a separation. Well, then we got stops on the other end. And we often talk about 3 in a row stops, and we force them into tough shots. I mean, they had some air balls, they had some shot clock violations, fading away. So that's been imperative for us, is we can't go on runs without stopping them. Otherwise, we don't gain a gap. So that margin is really, really important. The other thing that I thought we did well was make free throws. Sometimes that can be the difference in the game, and we saw that at Baylor. So going 14 out of 15, that's a good sign for us, and we're putting some pressure free throw drills in practice, and that's going to help you when these games get tight. And so that was a good statistic for us.
Coach, it was the first time you have seen Michaela Moore return on the court in action. How special is it to see Moore being back in action, especially after missing the most of the season due to injury?
Yeah. Y'all, that was faster than anyone should be back on the court, and that is a testament to who she is as a human being and a teammate and a person. She worked her tail off, and no one sees those unseen hours, right, of going through rehab and PT and late nights and ice and stim and foam and all the things she did it like double time to get back on the court for her senior year. So I'm really excited for her. She's looking great in practice. You know, you get your game legs under you, and we're excited to have her back.
The game, you guys were going off to a good start early, and every time it seemed like you guys were going to pull away. Utah's a great hustle team. There'd be a ball on the ground that they'd go get. We'd be right on top of it. There were some questionable calls down the back half of the first half, which were being a little bit upset. How did the team stay in it mentally? Every time they were about to pull away, what were you telling them to stay in it mentally, and eventually in the fourth quarter, finally pull away?
Well, you have to remind them we've been in these scenarios time and time again, from the non-conference to the beginning of the conference season to the Baylor games. We've been in these tight scenarios. So one was just really taking care of the ball, securing the ball. We talked about that. The other one is don't panic. Just be strong. And then, you know, we can't just rely on a whistle. We've got to create our own opportunity. So I thought the girls did a good job of being patient, being strong. Even when it got tense, I say focus all your energy on defense. And energy's always been our edge. So whether it's frustration or you're fiery or you're mad, take it out on defense. And they've been really good at just the response and the composure. I think that's a testament to our experience and our maturity of this team too.
Gabby Elliott's here.
Perfect timing.
Hey, Gabs.
Come on, Coach.
Oh, you want to switch out?
Yeah. Sorry, I got one.
Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
ask one more question? Speaking about the defensive side, Utah ran most of the game through the pick and roll set. How did you find ways to stop it so well?
Well, it's cool. Even Gabby, the first time we read it, Gabby, don't put that on there. That's our screen.
I will.
The first time we trapped a screen, we gave them trouble. I went back to that huddle, and Gabby was like, "Let's red her again. Let's trap her again." So I think, you know, they're into it. They're looking at the game, and you know, sometimes when you have a team that does continuous ball screen motion, you're going to have to mix up ball screen coverages. You can't play the same way because they're going to pick it apart. If you hard hedge, they're going to slip. If you trap, they're going to pop out quick. If you go under, they're going to shoot the three. If you go over, they're going to try to get to the rim. So we just mixed up ball screen coverage, but I'm really confident in them right now because they're communicating really well, and they're all on the same page through communication. We've talked about talking throughout the game. So, and this is what you want to see in February, right? You're coming to a huddle. You've got a team that's making suggestions, they're keyed in on plays. They're out there, so they know the best. I've got a lot of trust in them. I say, you know, I can focus on the X's and O's. You guys focus on different nuances, what you're seeing, keeping together, being the glue, communication, and that's Gabby Elliott right there. She's a leader, and they're doing that.
Well, heard it right there. Gabriella got her 500th rebound last night, like I said, a career rebound, and did it as a Sun and Devil. So forks up to Coach Miller for tying a program record, getting 20 wins in your first season. And it was not Charlie Turner Thorne. You know, Coach Thorne's my coach. But, yeah, that is that is absolutely huge. The 500 rebounds, but yeah, like she says, I mean, you know, they did their own scouting. They did it for the other games. I mean, coach has them mentally involved. So it's practice, like you said, the practices might not be longer, guys, but they're a little. It's a lot more of the mental at this point. Yeah, they're getting physical stuff in, and no, they're not like, you know, dragging on the court. You see it. I mean, the energy. McKenna Brackens, like I said, Jaya Levette, like she talks about coming in off the bench, and you know what Gabby Elliott's doing, and Marley Washington's, and Elisa Carrera, and then Martina Fantini last night. I mean, very aggressive. Coach said, told her she's not a freshman anymore. You know, so you know, just get in there, and again, she's being physical, and Dev Davenport again hitting threes and mixing it up, expanding that depth on the bench. But yeah, it's an easy schedule for the Clown that said that, oh, easy schedule, they're terrible in conference. 1-12, like I said, guys, would be terrible in conference. 7-6, again, yes, you're not lighting the world up, but you're 7-6 in a very, very good deep conference. And if it wasn't, I would say it, but yeah, I want to see this person's team schedule. So I'm sure they had something to say, but I'm not responding anymore. I said my piece to their weak, tired response. So nonetheless, but yes, forks up to Coach Miller again. The team, just the way they play, just absolutely awesome. And then yeah, they go down south Saturday, 12 noon. Yeah, it'll be very thrilling to say the least. So we shall see what happens there. But I mean, that's going to do it for Thirsty Thursday. Again, get on out to softball. Get on out to Club Farrington as your 4-1 Devils will be taking on Portland State at 3:30. So you got about 2.5 hours. 3:30. Bam. Let's go. Let's get out there. And yeah, we will go from there. So have a phenomenal rest of your Thursday. Get on out to that. Again, forks up, and thank you to Santiago Trouet from the men's hoops team. Again, Argentinian playing on like you said, the junior national team got called up, and now on the senior team getting called up and playing. So his game is just absolutely rocking. And I've mentioned him, Masamba Jop, the way they play. I mean, Alan McKay, the way he comes off the bench. I mean, the length of this team and what, like you said, what Noah Odom can do. And I mean, Noah Musin getting healthy too. Like, hey, they dug themselves a little bit of a hole. Coach talked about it, but they rebounded the other night, and now they know what it's going to take to if they can string. Look, if they went out, it'd be freaking phenomenal. Because I mean, beating Kansas and beating Iowa State, and obviously Texas Tech. So, but hey, let's just see what happens, man. Love it. Love the energy, the vibes. Again, he was out last night at the women's game. Again, the electricity within the athletic program, but just basketball. Like, yeah, get those vibes going. So forks up to Santi for joining us, and Connor for definitely helping hook that up. Greatly appreciated. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And yes, you guys know it. Thanks to reigning back-to-back Big 12 champs women's volleyball. It is #our-state team down south. You're going to recognize that in hoops, just like you did on swimming lastly. Coach Bain forks up to both teams there. But yeah, it is #our-state, so get used to that. And then, yeah, you guys know it. Go Devils. And as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Good play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Poole, touchdown. Quick flag. 3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met. The backfield runs through the contact and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Of this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Today. Just run the other way. He's still going back. That's the track. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.